But now this intersects here with some main event bullshit going on because at this point, they've set Gunther up earlier in the show with a promo and a video package, which had brilliant material and brilliant delivery. And the delivery obviously is his. The material, if it's not his, because it fits him perfectly, then they got brilliant writers all of a say, because this guy should be saying this shit. It fits perfectly. And he's a modern heel with a timeless gimmick. But for this 2.5 minutes or whatever it was, this is how you build a star. So then, the top of the 9 o'clock hour, Priest leaves John Hughes High School so that he can go out to the ring and say, "All rise for El Campeon." And the response was kind of, eh. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And that, I think both of these things cannot coexist. But anyway, so he calls Gunther out immediately, and Gunther, he does the same thing. He's got same kind of great heel attitude and delivery and condescension. And he said, just, I'll do you a favor, save you the embarrassment, hand me my title and move on right now. And Priest does the thing where they're trying to obviously make him a baby face here with not only with his opponent being a heel, but also with the sympathetic story that he's saying, I fought on the streets for 20 years just to get here. And you've been given everything, Gunther. And then it's almost like an AEW promo. Tell me what you think, Brian. But when he's saying to Gunther, if you think this is so easy and this has never been your dream, you just came here because you're so good. We don't need you here if this has never been your dream. That's AEW-ish or centric, isn't it?
Currently, but that starts with WWE. Once the whole boyhood dream thing for Shawn Michaels started, and even that was bullshit because Shawn Michaels didn't grow up watching WWF in San Antonio. All of a sudden, it became about people who appreciate the privilege of being in WWE because it was their childhood dream. And that's why you see so many promos now from adults talking about how the child in them would be so happy to see what they are doing right now on wrestling and the rough journey it took to get to TV to make all this money.
Well, anyway, Gunther was strong and he was a heel. You know, being on the streets is a choice. Blame your parents for not giving you a good life. Just a fucking compared Priest and the fans to street trash. And I don't think Priest wasn't strong enough coming back, whether it's the material, the delivery, the attitude, whatever. Except when he finally got to people at the end, they almost had to. It was like, if they didn't cheer God bless America or something, when he called him a boring, privileged, conceited scumbag. But, it wasn't.
What's the privilege exactly? That he won his matches?
Well, apparently, and also because he just blew through NXT, because they don't say that, well, Gunther's been around, Walter, been around for 15 fucking years or whatever on his own. Was a little fat, chubby kid. But they're telling the best story they can tell, and Priest didn't have, to me, the material or the fire to bow back up at a heel like Gunther when they're trying to obviously establish him as a upcoming babyface world champion. And then that's, then we...
Does Gunther have to win the belt at SummerSlam? Can you see any way around that?
Boy, I sure hope he does, because I don't know why he would lose. And at this point, like I said, if they're going in this direction anyway, where Priest will be out of the Judgment Day and a babyface single, and then obviously Rhea is already the biggest babyface female on the roster and over most males. They're going to separate her because she and Dominic are going to be some issues. So the Judgment Day will probably, if it continues as a group, I would think would be Finn and JD, who are a tag team, and Dominic potentially and Liv, so that Rhea could have somebody to interact with. And, that's kind of where the sides are going to go, one would think.
All right.
But nevertheless, so then that's the thing, is that then they have Priest and Braun Strowman. So there's the big, fucking bucket-headed babyface against Damian Priest, after Priest has just been out there telling people how he worked and lived on the streets for years, selling pencils on the street corner and walking uphill in a blizzard both ways and now he's against another babyface. And honestly, like I said, I like the show if I don't watch the matches. Brown's matches are never really technical masterpieces, but for Priest, here was the finish. 3 spin kicks to the head that didn't look very good. And then the other guy picks him up for a slam and his knee buckles, and Priest hits kind of a half-ass stinger splash in the corner and a choke slam 1, 2, 3. And he wasn't impressive winning this match. Then Gunther comes in and they get in a little fight. And Gunther rolls out and they yell at each other. I'm wanting to support Priest, but I'm thinking he may need the foundation specialist to even his concrete. That shit can get off a level, concrete and asphalt, driveways, things of that nature, paving stones.
Well, with that, we won't be telling you about a paving stone sponsor. We don't have one currently. However, Jim, maybe Priest needs some advice. Maybe he just needs to get on the phone and call somebody. If you're going to do that, you need a good plan.
Well, you need a plan of how to get to your emergency phone. Now, everybody needs an emergency phone, right? That's in case of cataclysmic weather like tornadoes, hurricanes, monsoons, whether guerrilla or otherwise. What you do is you take a phone and you bury it in a cardboard box 1 foot deep at a special marked place in your backyard. And that way, if all your power is out, you're cut off from society, you can take a shovel out in the backyard, dig this fucking phone up, open that box, and call the authorities. You've heard about these plans, haven't you?
No, I've not heard about. No one. You shouldn't be burying phones a foot deep in your
it's
your
a
property.
Big thing. It's a big thing in the suburbs now. All the people awaiting the next cataclysm or catastrophe or potentially January 2025, whatever horrible thing happens to the world. That way you've got a phone buried in case of emergency. You don't want to spend a lot of money, folks, on that phone plan, but you got to make sure you got a phone plan. Because if you went out in the middle of nuclear fallout and you had no electricity and no phone service and everybody in the whole world is off the grid, if you went out in your backyard and took a shovel and dug a foot down to a cardboard shoebox that you then opened up your special emergency phone, and you didn't have any goddamn phone plan, wouldn't you feel like an idiot? So what everybody needs to do to make sure they don't lose money or waste money is right now go to Mint Mobile, because Mint Mobile has a special unlimited deal, the high-speed data, the unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network, $15 a month. That means as long as you keep this thing operating, for heaven's sake, it's only going to cost you a couple of $100 a year to bury that phone in the backyard. And right now,
well, again, this is for your phones that you use, not phones you bury in your backyard. Let's talk about applications of Mint Mobile for people with active phones they are using on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, well, if you just want to just willy-nilly just use a phone right out in public in front of God and everybody, yeah, it's still $15 a month. And you can text anybody you want. And you can talk to anybody you want as long as they'll speak to you. You can send pictures of your family, your friends, your vacation, your pets, your genitals, whatever you like. And that's it, just as many as you want. So I'll tell you what, if you send a picture of your dick to 1,500 people, sooner or later, you're going to get some idiot that says, I like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about how that works, but let's advise people not to do that.
Well, you got to spread your net out and your network.
Just go on Tinder. No genital photos necessary.
On Tinder?
Or go on any dating site.
Tender, legal Tinder?
You don't know what Tinder is?
I don't understand this computer technology these days, but Mint Mobile does, and they are here to rescue you and all your friends. See, your friends and your family, and even if your family, if you don't particularly like members of your family, they can still get the phone plan. Just don't give them your number. But they can do $15 a month is where it starts, folks. Say bye-bye to the overpriced wireless plan. You got to be a new customer. It's a new customer offer. But you go to mintmobile.com/JCE, the 3-month premium wireless plan, $15 a month, $45 in total. See, I did the math for you. That's if you got a smartphone, you can just do the math on your phone because it's smart. And then you can call somebody and tell them what the answer is because you got a phone plan from mintmobile.com/JCE. Now, you got to pay the $45 up front for the 3 months because a lot of you people are goddamn just deadbeats. Let's just face it.
All right. Let's face it. You shouldn't be insulting everyone. What are you doing?
As many people as are listening to this program, we're reaching a pretty good-sized, segment of the deadbeat demographic. But if you're going to have to pay people up front because you got bad credit, you might as well not pay them much up front. What's $45 over 3 months? That's $15 a month. That is $3.75 a week, except for months with 31 days, in which case it would be a little higher and in Alaska and Hawaii. So right now, go to mintmobile.com/JCE and spend approximately as much money as I was just talking about, which will be less than you would spend if you go somewhere else to do the same goddamn thing.
Mintmobile.com's
yes.
Code JCE.
/JCE.
/JCE. If only we could. But,
hey!
Let's get back to whatever you're going to say about WWE Raw.